Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Queen Sugar Season 2, Episode 3. And the name of this episode is Why Do I Care for Mornings? Man, this was pretty much like a filler episode, but yet it was really good, and there were a lot of developments in this episode, and I'm definitely gonna work through this. So let's get started. The episode opens up. Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about Hollywood and Vi later, but right now I'm going to talk about the scene between Nova and Micah. Micah is still not talking. He's not eating. He still is out of it. Because remember, not only was he harassed by the police, driving while black, but he's also being affected by his parents' divorce, Davis and Charlie. So this young boy is like going through, this young man, he's going through a lot of emotional and psychological turmoil, and he's just kind of like not responding. So later on we see that Charlie comes to pick him up, and Nova has a conversation with her, and she lets him know that, look, he's not eating, he's not speaking, he's going through it, and it's going to take some time. And, obviously the situation was traumatic because she finally tells Charlie that the day we picked him up from the police station, he had peed his pants. So, he's really going through a tough time, and you really need to be there for him and give him pretty much give him the support that he needs. So while they're in the car, Charlie asks Micah, did you say that you wanted your father to have joint custody of you? And he said, well, I did say I wanted my father to be more into my life and to actually take more of an investment in me. And she's like, yeah, that's good. But did you tell him that you wanted him to have joint custody? And Micah didn't say anything, and she was like, just as I thought. So next, we actually get a scene between Davis and Charlie. And Charlie goes in. She's like, first of all, Micah told me he wanted you to spend time with him and to be a part of his life. That does not necessarily mean you're supposed to have joint custody of him. You know what? I'm not here for your BS. I'm not here for your crap. You're not going to get joint custody. I'm not signing off on it, and that's that. So Davis, because we know Davis is slick, Davis pretty much pulled a card and was like, I know that you signed my name on those documents for that loan for the mill. Yeah, because every time my name is signed, the bank lets me know, about my entitlements and everything. So if I don't get joint custody, I'm going to tell the bank you forged my name. And Charlie was like, you go ahead and do that. And I'll air out everything, the whole situation. Everything that went down with you and the mistress, the whole rape scandal. I'm going to put everything on Front Street. So if you really want to play this game with me, play it. Trust me, you won't win. So I was like, Charlie is just gangster. Like, when it comes down to business and comes down to her brand, she will fight to the nail. So that's a good thing, but then it's also a bad thing. And when I say it's a bad thing, is her interaction with Ralph Angel, because we actually seen in this episode, her and Ralph Angel are still going back and forth because Ralph Angel wants to be a man and actually have more say in the business, but Charlie's always shooting him down because Charlie feels that she has all the answers. In hindsight, she doesn't always have the answers, but she is a very intelligent woman. And Ralph is even very intelligent because pretty much involving Ralph Angel, we actually seen a scene where Blue is running in the yard and there's a drone that's actually following him, or better yet, he's following the drone because this drone is on their land. And then the next thing you know, the drone crashes, and he calls his father, and we see that there was an actual camera device hooked up to that drone. So he pretty much takes it to Jacob Boudreaux, you know, and we remember them from last season, you know. And for those, and just right quick, I'm gonna let you know, for those who are new to Queen Sugar, the land that the Bordelons own used to belong to the Boudreaux, and the Landrys, they pretty much are family. You know, the Boudreaux and the Landrys, you know, they married each other, so they used to have all of the land, and that 800 acres that the Bordelons have used to be theirs. So they have been trying since the beginning of time to take that land back, because I think they lost it during the Great Depression, and the Bordelons, family, ancestors, they actually bought that land, and they've owned it ever since. And since then, the Landrys and the Bordelons have been trying to take it back from the Bordelons. So pretty much that's pretty much the preface of what's going on here. So Ralph Angel takes the drone back to Jacob. It's like, yo, so this is what you're doing now. You're actually, trespassing on my property using camera devices, to look over my land. And he pretty much let him know, like, look, stay off my land. It belongs to my family. You're not getting it back. So you just need to let this go. And like, if anything, you lucky nothing didn't happen to my son. Because at the end of the day, Jacob being a smug SOB, he's like, well, I haven't stepped foot on your property since months ago, so I really don't know what you're talking about. And then, a little bit before he left, he pretty much tells him, well, I would suggest you shouldn't let your son play in the yard by himself because anything could happen. Man, Ralph Angel was about to rip Jacob's head off, and then he was like, go ahead, do it, and see how far you get back, and see how fast you go back to jail, convict. So Ralph Angel calmed himself down, because we as black folks do not play about our children. So he calmed himself down, and he said that if you so much as look my son's way, if you so much as look my son's way, there will not be a jail big enough to stop me from hurting you. So, so marinate on that, and walked up out of there. And I was like, Ralph Angel handled it, because he could have literally beat that dude's behind, and he pretty much stopped himself from doing that. And then we also see that he has a meeting that Ralph Angel has a meeting with his probation officer. He actually shares with the probation officer the letter that Ernest wrote naming Ralph the beneficiary of the farm. So the PO was like, oh wow, this is great, this is good, but he said that you're gonna have to fight. You're probably gonna have a fight on your hands with this. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's my family. He's like, it doesn't. He said, regardless of the fact, land and dirt is just brown money. There's money in this land. There's money in this dirt. And he says that, look, I'm not an attorney, but I can say that, yeah, this will definitely hold up in court, but you're going to have a fight if you do take it to court. So definitely be prepared, but think about this. This is about your future and his, referring to Blue. Also, what also happens in this episode is that Nova goes to Atlanta to be a part of this symposium about mass incarceration. And while she's there, she meets this guy, Robert Dubois, who I think is like this professor. And you can instantly tell there is chemistry between the two of them. And I was like, Nova was blushing and everything. And plus, while they were on the panel, they were going back and forth about mass incarceration and also about the question of how the man holds the black race down. And they were like literally going back and forth. And then when she started to talk about, you know, her fundraising event that she held, and she said that yes, it was peaceful, it was creative, and he says yes, and it was beautiful, just like you, and just as you're beautiful, that event was about you. And I was like, oh, so he complimented her and threw her a jab all at the same time. So Nova wasn't here for that, but then she got them together later though, and she pretty much says that look, you need to understand that look, not every black person has a fair chance. So, yeah, it's great that some of us have exceeded, even though we have these barriers, but yet these barriers are not put on others, and yet they have stifled our community where now most of them are going to jail instead of going to college. So, get that together, I believe. So, but regardless of the fact, they really complemented one another. They both are fighting for the same thing. They just have different methods, and they have different views of how to go about solving the problem. But they both are solution oriented. And you know, when she was leaving, she was just as smiling and just as blushing in the car. I was like, get your life, Nova. Got you a black man on your team. And I think that there's going to be something in the future with them, and I think we're all going to tune in to see what happens next. Now, not only did the Landrys and the Boudreaux send that drone on his land, they also got one of the farmers. His name is Henry Lee, you know, who's actually on their team. Landry paid him some money to get information about information about what's going on the Borderlones farm. And what they do is that they actually go to steal some of the sugar cane that Remy created, and pretty much Ralph Angel catches them in the act. So he finally breaks down and lets them know that, look, I haven't worked in weeks, I haven't been able to get any money, and I've been lying to my wife, and if anything, you know, I'm all supportive as to what you're trying to do, but, you know, I'm trying to eat, and Sam Landry gave me money. He just told me that all I was supposed to do was just get some information, you know, that they can use, you know, in referring to their land, and that's why I came and stole the sugar cane. But it's like, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, and don't tell my wife. I don't want my wife to know that I can't provide for my family and all of that. So Charlie is like, we should call the police and have him arrested. Ralph is like, nah, give him a second chance. And he's like, everybody deserves a second chance. Because, you know, him and Charlie been going back and forth. But at that moment, he checked Charlie and was like, look, everybody deserves a second chance. And we know how those Landrys and them Borderlones are. They pretty much preyed on his weakness. And that's why he did what he did. He's really with us. Because why would he tell us this if he really didn't care? So, we should forgive him and give him a second chance. So that moment kind of brought the two of them together, because next thing we know, we see that they go meet up with Sam Landry and Jacob Bordelot and their relatives. You know, they both in his office. Both of them come up and it's like, yeah, we're here, and how about it? It's actually morning. And he's like, why do I care about whether it's morning or not? And she said that, well, when we have an issue, we deal with it in the light of day, unlike the two of you who like to operate in the dark like a bunch of cowards. And I was like, get it, Charlie, get it. And she says that, look, if you come for one of us, you come for all of us. So stay off our land and don't mess with our family. And Sam, being the old head, starts to talk his big crap and was like, look, you think you got what it takes to beat us? You think you can, you've only been around for 3 months. We've been around for over 30 years. You think you can beat us at this game? And Charlie stepped up to him and was like, that's a question you should ask yourself. And walked up out of there. I was like, yes. Charlie and Ralph finally came together in that moment, because it's like, no, we may disagree, but at the end of the day, we family, and we're going to stick together as a unit. So I thought that was cool. So, pretty much, we all know that Ralph Angel has been trying to get, this loan so he can buy some soybean to plant, so therefore the farm is at least making money until they're able to process the sugar cane, because that process is going to take some time. And we know that the Landrys and the Bordelots own all the mills, but Charlie is now about to rebuild, this Queen Sugar Mill, and that's going to be a win for all of the black farmers in the area, but it's still just getting off the ground. But what ended up happening was that we actually have we pretty much had a scene between Ralph Angel and Micah, where he pretty much told Micah that, look, don't worry, man, you're gonna be okay, everything's gonna be fine, and you don't have, just keep your head up. We're gonna work this out, and you're gonna be good. And Micah and pretty much Charlie saw this, and she also saw how he interacts with Blue. So that began to change her perception about Ralph Angel, that Ralph Angel is not this dumb kid who's just making irrational decisions. He has become a man, and he's a man that is really being a leader for the young boys in his life, meaning his nephew and his son. So pretty much Charlie says that she's going to actually sign off and give him what he needs so he can get that loan so he can do the soybean, and that she's behind him 100%, and I thought that was good. And now the last thing I want to talk about is Hollywood and Vi, and I wanted to save them for last because they are my favorite couple, and you can definitely see that there is true black love between the two of them, because they were up in the they pretty much was in this hotel room, they pretty much getting it in with strawberries and whipped cream, they getting the loving in. And while they're in the midst of, enjoying each other and love and lust, Hollywood gets a call, to say that he has to, return back to the rig. They fixed the problem, and now they can return. Now he can return back. He's been there for a month, so he has 5 more months to go. So within that, you can see that Hollywood is conflicted, about that he gave his obligation that he's going to work this job, but then he also has now this second chance with Vi. So in the mix of all of that, when the day before he had to leave, he pretty much told Vi that my place is not on the rig. My place is here with you. I want us to work on our relationship. I want us to get that love back again, and I can't have that if I go back to the rig. So my place is here with you. And then when they went back home, the whole family surprised them. Everybody was happy to see that the two of them were back, and they all mentioned that, when the two of you are together, everything seems right. And it's because they are meant to be together. And this is the first time in the whole episode that we saw Micah smile. So Micah is even affected by the love that Hollywood and Vi share with one another. And also we see that we also see that this has also affected Charlie, because Charlie has decided to let Micah live with Davis. That he's like, right now he needs his father. So I'm going to trust that you're going to do right by him better than you did with our relationship. because trust me, if you mess this up, everything's off. And David's like, okay, I respect that. And he says that, look, I really wasn't going to turn you in. I know that's how you've always done our business. But I've already, approved it, and you're going to get your loan to help rebuild the mill. So they're now good. So we actually saw that come about. So that's pretty much all that happened in this episode, and I'm happy that Hollywood and Vi are back together, and we're going to see how they're going to rebuild their relationship. I'm happy to see that Charlie decided to let Davis have joint custody of Micah and let Micah live with his father, until he's able to get himself together. And, it seemed to me that things are good, but then we also see that there is going to be a war with Sam Landry and, Jacob Boudreaux. That these two, racist knuckleheads are not going to stop at trying to take the farm and the sugarcane away from the borderlands. So that's what we have to witness for this season, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next. So that's what I have for you guys. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with you next week for the next episode of Queen Sugar. So until then, everyone, take care.